Hi there, welcome to FabWebTuts. My name is Farvest. Alright, so today I'm just going to be teaching you on HTML forms. Now, HTML forms are very crucial when designing a website or a web app rather, because you actually get inputs from users. So you need HTML forms to get inputs from users. Okay, so but before we start properly, let's just go ahead and fix an error I discovered from our previous tutorial. Now if you look at the document flow, the document is slanting to the right, so it's not supposed to be so. It's supposed to be aligned by the left right here. So this is because there's an error in our ordered and unordered list. You can see we open ordered list here and we didn't close it actually here, and also we open unordered list here and we did not close it here as well. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and close this, and then we're just going to go ahead and close this as well. Then let's save this work and then let's refresh. You can see now all the elements we've added are aligned by the left here. Alright, so with that being fixed, let's just go ahead and continue with our HTML form. Now, to tell HTML that you are about to open a form, you have to just use the opening tag for HTML form. So let's just go ahead and do it. Now we're just going to go ahead and open form here, a form tag. Okay, let's drop it, and actually let's close it so that we are not going to go ahead and be repeating same error. So let's just go ahead and close it like so. Sorry. All right, so right now we can just go ahead and write the element, that's the inputs of the HTML forms. Now there are several inputs you can include in your HTML form. I'm going to input them one at a time so that you can see what we are going to get. Alright, so this is what we are going to do. We're just going to go ahead and give the user an idea of what kind of form they are to fill. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and give heading 1, and then let's say, so let's just go ahead and say registration form, like so. Let's close heading 1 so we're not going to forget. Okay, so let's drop the line. Alright, so the first input we're going to have is the input type text. Now the input type text is used to accept inputs such as name. Alright, so let's just go ahead and type input, then type, like so. Type will be equal to, let's say, text, like that. And then there's another attribute we are going to give the input type text. We're going to give it a placeholder. Now the placeholder is going to be let's say enter your full name, like so. So let's save this, and now let's refresh our website. All right, so you can see we have registration form heading 1 and then input type text. You can see now the user can just go ahead and enter their full name here. You can see actually let me clean this. All right, so let's just go ahead and create another input type, but before we do that, let's break the line here. So I'm just going to go ahead and have BR, that's break off line, and then we're going to have paragraph. Now let's drop this and then go to the next thing. Now the next input I'm going to talk about is the input type number. Now this input only accepts numbers. It cannot accept text. You cannot type text there. You can only type numbers there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. So you're going to have input. Actually, let me just go ahead and copy this. So when you copy this, let's copy it and then let's paste it here. Then we're going to change text to number, like so. And then the placeholder, let's leave it as, let's say, enter your age, enter your age, like so. Let's save this and then let's go ahead and refresh. You can see now we have input type number. Now you can see we have enter your age, input type number. Now if you type any alphabet on your keyboard, it's not gonna work except numbers. When you type numbers, you can see the numbers are entering. So this is used to filter out text and accepts only numbers. Actually, you can see you can just go ahead and click on this to add the numbers or use this to reduce the numbers. All right, so let's proceed. Now the next input type we're going to talk about is input type file. Okay, so let me just go ahead and drop this line and then paste this. Now let's go ahead and change this input type text to input type file, like this. Now this placeholder here is actually not relevant for this type of input, so let's remove it. Okay, let's save this and then let's go ahead and refresh our website. Now you can see our website is having input type file. Now this input type file is used to accept files only. You cannot enter any number, cannot enter alphabet. You can only enter a file. Now when you click on it, it's just gonna load a file browser. So let's see, do I have pictures here? Nah. What do I have here? Let's see. Actually don't have anything in this. Let's see, what can I add? What's here in downloads? Let's go to document. Do I have files? Yes, I do. So I'm just gonna double click. You can see now we have FabWebTuts profile.png. So you can only enter file here when you are using the input type file. Okay, so let's go ahead and check the next input type, which is input type email. So let me just go ahead and copy this and then I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it here. So let's just go ahead and edit this, say input type email. So let's save this and refresh. Now if you scroll down, you're going to see input type email. Now if you enter anything other than email, this form is not going to submit. It must take an email, and then the format of an email is that you must have an @ symbol like this @ symbol. It must be included in your input type. This input type only accepts email. It doesn't accept any other input. Okay, all right, actually let's just go ahead and add the placeholder attribute here. So let's copy this and then let's go ahead and paste it here. All right, so enter your email, like so. Let's save this and then refresh. You're going to have enter your email right here so that the user will know exactly what you are looking for here. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and then paste it here. So the next input type we are going to talk about is the input type date. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and remove input type email, then I'm going to type date, like so. Let's save it and then let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, so you can see we have input type date. So already it's gonna give you the format for the date. We have day, month and year. So when you click on it, it's just gonna go ahead and give you space to type. When you type, whatever you type, it's just gonna go ahead and put it in date format. Or you can click on this little icon right here and then it's gonna open up date browser. So you can just browse for the date here, or whatever date you select is gonna appear here. Okay, so that's the input type date. Actually the input type date doesn't need a placeholder, so I'm just gonna remove it and then save it. Now the next input type I'm going to show you is input type radio. Now the input type radio is very important. That's when you want to give a user an option to choose from a particular list of stuff. So you can just go ahead and give the user options, and then the option the user can choose is just one. The user cannot choose multiple options. Let me just go ahead and show you. So right now let me just go ahead and remove this placeholder, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and type input type radio, like so. Let's save this. Now you're going to give a description of what the radio is all about. So let's say the description is male. Then let's go ahead and remove this. Then let's copy this as well and then paste it here. And then the second radio is going to be female, like so. Okay, so let's just go ahead and refresh our website. Now when we refresh, we are going to have two radio buttons. If you click on this, you can also go ahead and click on this, and this is because these two radio buttons are independent. Now we can just go ahead and bind this radio button. You cannot be male and female at the same time, so you can only be male or you can only be female. So what we can do now is to just go ahead and bind these two radio buttons. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and give it a name attribute. Now the name attribute is going to be, say, gender, like so. Let's just go ahead and copy this name attribute here and then paste it here as well. If you paste it here, we're going to have name gender. Now if you refresh this page and then you click on male, when you click on female, the male is going to be unselected. So you can only select male or you can only select female. Now to make this form understandable, let us go ahead and write, say, gender, like so, and save it here. Let's just go ahead and refresh. Okay, so you can see now it says gender, male or female. So right now let's just go ahead and add a colon here and save and then refresh. Now you have gender, is it male or female? When you click on female and you click on male, it's not gonna unselect female and select male. Okay, so that's it about radio button. So radio button are very, very important. Now you can have multiple options, but the user is only going to select single option when you are using a radio button. Okay, now let's move on to the next form input type. So let's drop this line here. Now the next input type is input type checkbox. Okay, so let us go ahead and copy any of this. Let me copy this and then let me drop it here. Now we can just go ahead and say remove this. Okay, then we're just going to say checkbox, like so, checkbox actually. So let's save this and then let's refresh. We're going to have a checkbox here. Actually, let me drop this line. So we have paragraph. Let me copy this and then let me paste it here to drop the line and then apply paragraph for us. So let me just save this and then let's refresh. Okay, so we have our checkbox here. Now this checkbox is very, very important. Now the checkbox does something different from what a radio button does. Now on a radio button, you can only select one option, but on a checkbox, you can select multiple options at the same time. So let me just go ahead and add a few checkboxes here. So let me remove this paragraph and line break. Let me go ahead and add other checkboxes. So let me drop this line, drop another one, drop another one, drop another one. Now let me just describe the checkbox. So here we can have let's say we're giving food menu, let's say stew. Then we're going to say semo. That's funny. All right, then fish, whatever. I'm just trying to make a list. Then what again? Let's just go ahead and add juice. All right, let me save this and then let's refresh. Okay, so you can see now we have check boxes here. You can go ahead and check stew. Yeah, you like stew, you like semo, you also like fish, and you like juice. So you can go ahead and check all of them at the same time. But for a radio button, you have to bind them together, and then when you select one, the other one is going to be unselected. Okay, so in order to add a description to what we've just done, let us go ahead and type here. Let's drop this line, and then here we're just gonna go ahead and say select food type, like so. So let's save this and then refresh. Now you can see we have select food type, stew, simmer, and so on. You can have as many as we want. Alright, so that's it about checkboxes. Let's just go ahead and add the next input type. So the next input type is input type text area. So a text area is used to collect text. So let us go ahead and declare a text area right here. So let's say text area. Okay, we open a text area and then we're going to close the text area. So that's it, text area and then text area. So let's go ahead and refresh our website. Now you can see we have text area. This is where you can type a longer text. Alright, actually let's describe what the user is going to enter. So let's just ask the user to send us a message, like so. Let's save and then refresh. You can see send us a message. Actually, let's drop this line. So let me just go ahead and copy this break line and paragraph and then apply it after juice. Alright, let's save and then let me apply it after send us a message as well. So let's save and then refresh. Okay, so you can see send us a message. You now go ahead and type the message. Actually, let's add space. So you can just go ahead and say rows like this equal to let's give it say 20 rows. So let's save this and then refresh. You can see we have enough room to type our message. Actually, it's too long. Let me just give it say 15 rows, like so. Let's save it, then refresh. So we have 15 rows right now. So you can just go ahead and type your message. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to discuss is input type URL. So you want to enter a web link and you want the web link to be in the right format. You can just go ahead and use input type URL. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and then drop the line here, and then the next thing I'm going to do is to just go ahead and type input type URL like this. You save it and then let's refresh. Okay, so when we scroll down now, you're going to see we have input type URL. Okay, now this input type only takes URL. You can see it says please enter a URL. So whenever you enter something that is not a URL, this form entirely is not going to submit. Okay, so let me just go ahead and remove this. Actually, I'm going to apply the break line here as well after the text area. So I'm going to break the line and then refresh. Okay, so in order to explain this, let's just go ahead and add a placeholder here. So let's copy this and then let's paste it here. So enter your web link like this. So let's save this and then refresh. All right, let's scroll down. You can see it says enter your web link. So whatever you're going to enter here must be a web link. The user cannot send just a random text. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to teach you is the select input. So let me just go ahead and drop this line and then let's create a select input. Now a select input works much like the checkbox. So but the select input gives a lot of options in a confined space. Let me just show you what it does. So you're going to create a select input like this. Let's drop the line and let's close the select input like this. Now under the select input, we're going to have options like so. Now these options are what will be dropped down when the user clicks on the select input. So right now let's say select food menu. Let's just go ahead and input a stew as usual, whatever. We close the first option like so. Sorry, what the heck. All right, so let's just go ahead and make a copy of this because I'm too lazy to type. All right, so let's drop this and then let's paste, and then we paste again. So right now we have stew. The next option is what do you have? Semo. And then the next option we have there is fish. I feel like chewing fish now. So the next thing we have is juice. All right, let's save this. Now when we refresh, you're going to have a select option. So you can see a select input here. So when we click, you can see we have other options here. Stew, semo, fish. When you click on fish, it's going to be selected as fish. You can see right now. Actually, let's just go ahead and describe what we are doing. So right now, we can just go ahead and say select your food menu. Okay, so let's drop this line by copying this. I'm going to copy this and then drop it here. Okay, then actually I'm going to drop this line here as well. So let's save and then let's refresh. You can see right now we have select your food. So you can just go ahead and click here and then select the food you want. Okay, all right, so that's it for the form. But there is one thing we have not talked about yet. Now the next thing we're going to do is to create a submit button. Now this form is going to be a whole big nonsense if we don't have a submit button, because you have a very nice form here and then the user enters the data and then no submit button. So this is what I'm going to create now. So the last thing I'm going to do is to create an input type, another input type. Actually, let me just go ahead and delete this. So I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it here, then remove this. I'm going to type the word submit, submit here, input type submit. Then let's go ahead and remove this placeholder. What we can do is to just go ahead and type value. Now this value tells you the value that will be on the submit button. So the value to be on the submit button is going to be, let's say, place your order like so. So let's save this and then let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, so you can see a button has been added, place your order. So right now if I click on this button, it's going to submit the form. The reason why it's not working is because we don't have a back-end code. The back-end code that will pick all this data and send them to the database. All right, so let me just go ahead and remove this. Okay, so that's it about form. To create a form, just go ahead and open the form tag, then maybe a description of what the form is all about, and then you enter all the input types here. We have the text, the number, the file, email, date, radio, checkbox, text area, URL, select, and the last thing I'm going to put is the submit button, because at the end of the day the user must submit the form. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Now in the next tutorial I'm going to teach you about HTML links. Now links are very important because you have to click on a particular link to take you to another part of the website. So I'm going to show you how to create links in your website. Alright, so until then, peace out.